Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. What's going on? It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, where we basically go in on the latest celebrity news, hot topics, whatever you name it, we're going to talk about it. I was like, why am I hearing feedback in my ear? Then I realized I had my YouTube channel open because I was trying to set things up for the show. Like, I literally had 10 minutes left, and I was like, oh, let me hurry up because I had to take my dogs for a walk. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, so we got a lot of tea to spill today. So first thing we're going to be getting to before I tell you all my follow the social medias and all other stuff, the usual spiel that I do, we're going to be talking about Bussy, basically standing 10 toes down on what he said. I wasn't expecting him to change his mind, but T.S. Madison and, a lot of the trans girls have come out and is dragging his ass on social media. He's saying that he's being bullied. I got my opinions on that. So T.S. Madison, I hope Giselle had came out and said some stuff. I have their receipts. I have her thing that she posted on TikTok. So as a class, we're going to unpack everything, and then y'all can leave y'all comments in the comment section on wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching, well, we're not on Instagram, fuck Instagram. TikTok, well, not even TikTok. I take my cup. What am I talking about? When you can watch the show on Facebook, which I finally am able to go live on there. I guess I'm out of jail over on that section. I'm finally able to live stream from there. So the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter, those are the three places. And I'm also, I forgot that I'm also on Twitch. So I'm live on there as well. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, we're gonna break down this whole Katt Williams interview that he just did with Shannon Sharp. Child, was alive. And I did watch the whole 2+ hours. It was like almost 3 hours. So we're gonna break that down and the stuff he said over there. And child, I clutched my pearls, but I was cackling at the same damn time. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Nigel Lythgoe. Child, I told you where there's smoke, there's fire. 2 more people have come out and said that the man essayed them. So it ain't just Paula Abdul out here saying that they was assaulted by Nigel Lythgoe. 2 more people came out and said that they also have been harassed by that old ass, nasty ass man. Plus, we got tea on Kelly Clarkson spilling tea about her no good ass ex-husband. So some stuff about that. Speaking of the gays, since we was talking about them earlier in the show, Kyle Richards over on the Beverly Hills Housewives says that she wouldn't mind dipping her foot in the lady pond. So we're going to talk about that because, that's a whole breakdown of what's going on over in that current season of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we're going to talk about her and what my thoughts are on that. Plus, Andy Cohen is clapping back at that old jailbird Jen Shah with the recent stuff where she said about him being butthurt because they do an interview. So I have that. Britney Spears said, there was tea coming out that she was working with, on her 10th album. Miss Mama said, I don't know where y'all heard that from, but I am done with the industry. I am no longer being a part of this cesspool known as the music industry. Plus, we have tea on Denim from Canada's Drag Race saying that she is sick and tired of y'all comparing her to a certain queen from the show. And Lil Nas X, he has his upcoming documentary based on behind the scenes of his Montero tour. It's got a release date and it's coming to a streaming service near you. And I'm going to tell you where you can watch it this month. So it's coming out in 3 weeks on a certain streaming service. I'm going to tell you where you can watch the damn documentary if y'all can. So before we get to all of that stuff, I want y'all to do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, the notification, so that way I'm going to go live and all that good stuff. Plus, follow all my social media platforms, which you could definitely check down in the description box on my YouTube channel and let you know where you can follow me on my Facebook, my TikTok, my Instagram, my Twitter, everywhere I'm at, bitch. Follow me over there to get the latest headlines, because I don't always post everything from, on this show. I post a lot of stuff on my social medias as well. That's a cackle and a half. If y'all watch and y'all be following me, it's the tape. So without further ado, we got some people in the comments. Sailor Mermaid is in the building, and Robert says that we're going to discuss the Museum of Sex and how they lied on Madonna and her HIV activism. You want to know something? Remind me about that. That wasn't on the docket, but I'll bring that up sometime in the show. Or if you can, send me that again on Facebook. I'll just happen to scroll through and look it up in the thing and then pull it up, because I did see there was something that had transpired. Speaking of which, well, fuck that. Let's talk about that now before we get to the stuff. Because if it's on my mind, we need to talk about it. So, wait, hold on. I was like, where is his comment? Yeah, let me pull this up because I remember it was in the wasn't it in the group chat that we're in? I'm in a group chat with Robert called the Rebel Hearts, where and they was talking about. Yeah, I got it. So they were basically talking about, it's all things Madonna. We up in there. We do our debates. It ain't just a bunch of people up in there just kissing Madonna ass. Like we do go in and let have on some stuff. So if you're a hardcore Madonna fan, that's the group that we're in. But they did say something that at the Museum of Sex, they posted this thing called on August 1st, 1981, the first 24-hour video music channel MTV launched with the Buggles fitting video Kill the Radio Star. The music video is a form-made songs that appeal to both the young and the erotic imagination and much more popular and terrifying concept, blah, 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 so on and so forth. We don't care about all that. But this is the part where they got to. Ronald Reagan was elected to power in 1981, and he espoused conservative social ethics, undetermined erotic freedoms, and his refusal to acknowledge that AIDS, sexually transmitted virus, devastated creative and marginalized communities. Mainstream musicians such as Madonna, Prince, and Queen failed to openly acknowledge the devastation of the moment, focusing on the video music format to play with erotic fantasies. The AIDS crisis hit home when Queen frontman Freddie Mercury died in 1991 from the virus. Now, anybody with a goddamn brain who has been around long enough and has done a little history know that that was a damn lie. You don't need, what the hell's his name? Maury Povich to tell you that this shit was a lie. You don't need a DNA test. You don't need all of that. All you got to do is look back in history. Madonna has always been one of the rare few musicians that has been at the forefront of speaking about HIV and AIDS. First of all, she lost many endorsement deals for speaking out against HIV and AIDS. Y'all forget the Like a Prayer music video where she kissed a black man that people had a problem with, and how she's always been vocal about speaking out about AIDS. That killed a lot of campaigns and she lost a lot of money because she spoke up when nobody else did. Now, the person we should be dragging, and I have dragged many a times on this show when it's come to conversations about the early years of AIDS, because that was long before me. Thank the Lord that I didn't have to go through that because I was an infant or whatever the case when all this whole AIDS stuff was happening in the 80s. So, but I know many people who have gone through that situation because I speak to a lot of older, a lot of older gay. I'm not going to say LGBT because it affects a lot of gay men. So I speak to I have a lot of older gay male friends who have told me about a lot of those times because I've always, the way I was growing up, I always look to the older people as a mentor. Now these days, a lot of the younger gays be looking down their nose at old people like they don't know shit. You 30 years old, you're considered a grandpa or whatever. And maybe in some cases that's true because when you got parents out here having babies at 14 and on up, of course you're going to be a grandmother by the time you're 35. So everybody knows the fact that Madonna was at the forefront of this whole situation. Now, Freddie Mercury didn't really talk about his sexuality because it was a thing where men couldn't be open with their sexuality. Barry Manilow never talked about it. We also had Sylvester we knew because he was flamboyant. He couldn't hide that. And he wasn't even trying to hide who he was, but he did die from complications from AIDS. And then we had not only Freddie Mercury, who else? There was a bunch of gay people that were keeping their sexuality a secret. George Michael didn't come out until he got busted in the bathroom trying to give a baloney wash or a jerk off or whatever the hell he was doing in the tea room. So when all that stuff came out, and then he poked fun at it, made the video with the bathroom made of rhinestones and glitter and all that other stuff. When the disco ball came down, that is one of my favorite videos. But because I love a campy queen. But so there was a lot of that. So I feel like y'all need to give Madonna her flowers, and they had no choice but to. So the Museum of Sex took to social media and said the following. They said, we have since amended our signage in the museum to point out the early steps Madonna took to bring attention to the AIDS crisis. We regret any negative light that may have shined. It was purely unintentional. She did a lot of stuff. She pushed a lot of boundaries in regards of going against Catholicism and the hypocrisies of organized religion, homosexuality, homophobia. She spoke out on a lot of those things, racism, bringing a lot of interracial stuff into the forefront when a lot of the music industry is notoriously racist and homophobic. So Madonna was pushing against a lot of that. And so people, and made it easy for a lot of your faves like Lady Gaga and the rest of them to be out here doing the shit she took a lot of shit for. So when we talk about this, it's not to throw shade at a lot of these younger people, but y'all need to give flowers to the people who have paved the way for your faves to be able to have the easier road to do what it is that they do. So that's all I want to say on that. So yes, I'm always about giving people the history and the flowers and all that stuff. But let's get to the tea that everybody came here for. Well, I know y'all come for a lot of stuff, but let's get to the top story because I was like, let's talk about T.S. Madison and, everybody coming out and saying what they said about Bussy. So Bussy MadAzz, we already talked about in the last episode, came out his face and all of a sudden had to let everybody know that he was uncomfortable because it was a gay love story perpetuated in the New Color Purple movie. Now, those of us who have eyes and a brain and a sense of whatever, an actual thought that works in our head, for those of us who have actually seen The Color Purple and read the book, which is basically the book was published the same year that Miss Bussy was born. So he the same age as the Alice Walker novel. So the book and everything, I guess he don't know how to read. And like I said before, maybe he don't know how to read. I don't believe he knows how to read because anybody with some damn sense would have known that the source material was carried even further in the book. Alice Walker, who wrote the book, is an openly queer Black woman, was in a relationship with Michelle Nadigacello. Now, I didn't know that until somebody pointed that out to me when I saw it on social media. Give me one reading of here. That Michelle Nadigacello. So them two was hunching at one point. And so Alice Walker has been open about her sexuality and other stuff. So there was that. The book came out. Then a couple of years later, we got the movie with Steven Spielberg. We already know about the whole thing about what Whoopi Goldberg said, where she was like, they couldn't really explore Celie's sexuality because it was 1985. So, yes, you could not explore those things at that time because in the 80s, and further than that, you weren't allowed to even imply, say, gay, do all those other things. When gay people were perpetuated or perceived in a movie or TV show, it was always based on stereotypes. They were either hookers, they were either murdered, they were murderers, serial killers. There was a lot of stereotypes. So at the time, we was taking a lot of what we could because we was glad to see some kind of representation, good, bad, or indifferent, which of course came with a lot of protests and backlash from a lot of people, from, many movies. They have many movies, the Celluloid Closet gives you the history of queer cinema, so on and so forth. Plus, there's like a queer and horror thing that's on, documentary or docuseries that's on Shudder. If you haven't seen that, where they go into talking about queer representation in horror movies. Good, bad, or indifferent. So basically, people read him down to the ground on social media. So I know he was trying to say a lot of people agree with what he said, but for the most part, I did see a couple of people that agree with him. But when I was going on a lot of the blogs, because I read the Black blogs, because they be the main places where y'all want to go and spew your whole goddamn homophobia. So I went over there and I read a couple of the stuff, and for the most part, it seemed like people were very much dragging him and saying what we've all been saying. Did you not read the book? Did you not see the 1985 movie? Yeah, they didn't show a bunch of ladies, lapping up at each other's labia majoras, but you did get a lot of, you got the sensuality. You got to see Celie and Shah kiss. And some people even said, is this a colorism thing? Because he has a song talking about two red bones kissing in the back seat and how he got turned on. But because you have Celie and Shah, who are two dark-skinned Black women, is that really the issue? Because he's not turned on by the Celie and he's not turned on by Fantasia and Taraji P. Henson. So that's why you had a problem with it. And a lot of times, let's be clear, there's a lot of people in the Black community that are colorists as well as homophobic. Even people that's the same goddamn shade as Celie, Shug, and Miss Bussy. Because he dark-skinned too. But that don't necessarily mean there ain't a lot of dark-skinned Negroes out here who have their issues and look at people who are a darker shade and don't have a problem with their own goddamn kind. I've seen that shit play out many a times. So he said the following, because he puts everything in caps, because I guess he thinks he's Kanye by having to put everything in caps. He said, why, if someone doesn't agree with the narrative that's being pushed, why do y'all say the person who don't agree is? Is what? He didn't finish it. So are you trying to say that the person is gay or homophobic? Like, finish the sentence. So then he goes, what? That's bullying. We have a right as parents to say it's not cool for a 7 or 9-year-old to watch this. We have rights as parents to protect our children as much as we can. And goes on to say no problem at all he has no problem at all with people. And then said that his grandfather was a Southern Baptist preacher and he wants to raise his kids with the same beliefs and respect he had growing up. It's just his world will not have you in a fight to do so. Well, you can't talk out of both sides of your damn mouth and say all of that, but then at the same time, all you're doing is spewing hate against marginalized groups of people. He said many of things. And guess the same preacher, did he teach you to go out and have your son and nephew at the age of 13 and 14 getting they meat swallowed up by a stripper, an adult stripper? So you had your children, you are being pedophiled, your kids, by a grown woman. You're okay with that, but you got issues with everything else. So, right, shortly after, as everybody knew, T.S. Madison got on the line and went in on him. And let me pull up because I'm trying to figure out which one should I pull up first. So there was one that was on Twitter. I guess we'll pull that one up first, and then I'll pull up the other ones. So she went on Twitter and said, well, she said in many places, but I was like, let me just pull up the Twitter one first. So she said this. She said, beloved, that's a read coming when somebody calls your ass beloved. At Bussy Official, I am not in any way angered at you, sir. There is no accountability ever taken for any of the contributions you add to the demise of our community. Our community, as in Black people, you have had folks agreeing with you because they are just as misguided in their thoughts as you. You again sat with your daughter through all the parts dehumanizing and demeaning a Black woman, sex slave a Black woman, and beat a Black woman, and the moment she finds love from a woman, from up under Black men because it's too much and now becomes a gay agenda. I shouldn't expect much from a man who paid grown women to sexually assault his teenage son and nephew, thinking that makes him a man. No, sir, that makes you a mister, as in the character Mister, played by Coleman Domingo, and in the first film, Danny Glover. As long as you speak on making our existence as LGBT people an agenda to hurt kids, I'll be right here to remind you of your part in damaging kids. Be blessed, beloved. So that's the first thing that was said. Then he went and said this bullshit because apparently, some people, you feel like you could just say what you want to say and there'll be no repercussions for your actions. So he said, you seem offended because the truth hurts. The movie had a great acting, but it's just not appropriate for my little girls to watch. And it's not just me, my transsexual Maddie, that feels this way. SMH, go read all the comments across social media about the film. It's a lesbian classic, but good film. And just because someone don't agree, that makes them homosexual. So everyone who disagrees is rainbow. Maybe you're mad at yourself. You've been mad at me since I told the tranny swimmer, get out the damn pool. Leave me alone, my N-word. So now he want to talk all this crap. But then when somebody pipe up and clap back at his ass, he can't take it. And that's usually the case of a bully. So you not being bullied, you are the bully. Because bullies, when they can't handle the smoke, try to run. Or they always try to go, because I had fights with many bullies. And there's been times, I lost some and I won some. But a lot of times when it comes down to it, you got to stand up to a bully. And when you knock them, they goddamn teeth in the back of their throat, then they leave you the fuck alone. So maybe that's what's got to come at this point with him. And what people need to realize, because she posted this too, she said the gay agenda, living our lives safely, gay or trans and TV media, respecting people's pronouns, non-discriminatory healthcare, non-discriminatory housing. And this is the thing. This is all we want as queer people. We don't bother nobody. We don't say nothing to y'all. We don't go around trying to recruit people. This is not the goddamn military. We're not trying to go around recruiting kids. First of all, I don't even like fucking kids. So stop always trying to think that people want to come out here and, grab your kids up or do things to them. We don't want no kids. First of all, a lot of you, child, let me watch my mouth because I'm about to go all the way off. But this is like, I just don't understand why heterosexual people like Bussy MadAzz is always so irritated or always worrying about what we are doing. The only time you're supposed to be a musician, why are you not out here making music? The only time he knows he goes viral, he gets attention, is when he says stuff about gay people. And yes, you are allowed to say what you want to say. I say that all the time. People have the right to say what they want to say on, Beyonce, Blue Ivy, and Solange's internet. But what you're not going to do is think that you can say whatever the fuck you want to say and not be no repercussions or somebody to come back at you for what you said that's ignorant, wrong, and dangerous. Because a lot of people, when you say the shit that you say, especially when you got a bull dagger for a daughter your damn self, what that does is that creates a distrust between you and your child. The child don't feel safe enough to come to you and tell you what they're going through in life regarding their sexuality. So they remove themselves away from you. They don't want nothing to do with your dusty, yellow-eyed ass. And then they going over here living their life. This is why a lot of times in our community, we build our own families because our families are a piece of shit. Well, not mine. My parents love me at the end of the day. because we've had our conversations and I came out to them and stuff. They never kicked me out. I've never had this situation where I've had to deal with homophobic parents. Thank the Lord. But I know a lot of other people who have, at certain ages, when they 14, 15, 16 and on up, maybe even younger than that, been kicked out of their homes because their parents are homophobic, because they weren't about what the people in the neighborhood think. They weren't about what the church thinks. The church raising your fucking kids. Is anybody else out here raising your kids? You need to worry about raising your goddamn kids and worrying about what other people out here is doing and how they raising their children. Had something a whole lot to say. Talking about, well, parents raising they this, that, and the third. Yeah, you raise your nappy-headed ass motherfucking kids the way you want to raise them. But you don't get to tell other people how to raise their kids. You try to keep up out here and tell Dwayne Wade and how to raise Zaya, when that's none of your fucking business. But you felt the need to go on that colonizer Vlad TV to tell him what you thought about, old girl and Gabrielle Union when she dragged you down to the ground and you try to come for her. Because your ass can't read and can't read as in illiterate, and you can't read as in the gay term when you're trying to come for somebody. So he can't read and can't read. So Tia said this, also said, no gays or trans allowed unless we do hair and makeup, write songs, carry our bags, stay in the shadows, accept all the pedophilia, straight grooming, molestation, make him a man, ways, dope dealing, killing, etc., or simply just, be straight. And this is all from, not saying all straight people think this way, because I have a lot of straight friends. Some of my best friends are actually straight, quite frankly, and don't think like the way he thinks. A lot of them are comfortable in their own skin where they don't worry about all this or have to go in and let have or worry about what other people do, because they content and comfortable with who they are. This back swamp motherfucker, sits around and worries about what everybody else is doing because he ain't got nothing. Like, you got a whole tribe of kids you need to be raising and not worrying about what everybody else is doing with their damn kids. So then, so he said that, and I'm trying to look for, where's the other, oh no, that's not it. What was the other thing that I saw? Oh, so she went and came in also because he tried to come back saying that that's not my community and your community. And before I said anything, this movie was labeled a lesbian classic all over the internet, SMHYU blank, whatever. And she said, let's get our grammatical errors correct first and then return to this conversation between adults. And she said, we've come to the conclusion that 1, you did not read, and 2, you cannot read, especially in attempting to read me. Sir, pass the basic minimum let's go back on that. Sir, pass the basic minimum skills test and then return to have a conversation with me. Let me let you in on a little secret. God made Adam and Eve and Steve, and he even made Timothy, which is TS's government name. Well, that's her dead name, I should say. But the acts of predatory behavior on your sons that have been generationally passed from your grandfather to you and now from you and your sons have created a new era of mister. That type of parenting breeds more danger to our community. Yes, our community, honey, because bitch, I'm black too. Get pussy. Don't make you straight or keep you straight, dear. You're the same man who watched thoroughly a man hold his there was a whole thing, I think that's where I came in and I read the other stuff about, all the other stuff that he wound up saying. So yeah, there was that. And then what I want to do is I want to bring up the Hope Giselle video because she went and said a whole lot of stuff that made a whole lot of sense. And it's like 2 minutes. So I want to play that for y'all because those are the people I love. I love when people like T.S. Madison and Hope Giselle, who are the antithesis of like what you get from a Laverne Cox and the rest of them. They're more subtle with the way they want to say stuff. These two come with, straight with no chaser. And those are the type of girls that I love to gravitate towards. Because what we're not going to do is, you're not going to sit up here and say your bullshit and then it's going to be okay. And then we just going to sit up here and tolerate it. Because that's not how that works, sir. And if and my thing is, like I said before, you could say what you want to say and feel how you want to feel. But do it in the privacy of your own home. The minute you make that shit public, you can't be mad at people coming out feeling like, no, what you're saying is incorrect and dangerous. So yeah, let's get to this Hope Giselle clip and then I'm going to wrap up this story.
Imagine going to see The Color Purple watching Celie get her ass beat, be raped by her father, sold off to a man who she doesn't know, have to bear children by that man, get no respect from him or those children, be called ugly to her face, treated like a tertiary character in her very motherfucking main character ass story, and then having somebody say that the worst part of the movie and the part that their children shouldn't bear witness to is the one sense of tenderness that she has in the entire film, because that tenderness comes from another woman. Lil Bussy, I really need you to find a new hobby. You see, the thing about it is, none of that will change the fact that you're still going to be a mad little elf. You'll never sell more records than Lil Nas X. And you're going to be one of those performers that performs the same songs for the next 20 years for $10K at a party that's usually hosted by college students, because nobody considers you to be an actual musician anymore. At this point, you've got to give it the fuck up and recognize that people are going to be people, and gay is just going to fucking happen. Especially considering that gay is happening in your own fucking home. Your daughter is one of the biggest butch dykes out in the world, and you are missing it because you are so busy trying to ignore the fact that gay exists, and it can exist within your own family. And if we're being honest, Bussy, it low-key seems to might just exist within inside you, and that seems to be the real reason why you have an issue. The only time that you go viral is to talk about something that you claim that you hate. Wouldn't you like to go viral for actually making a good piece of music again? Because at this point, you're gonna die mad, black, bitter, probably DL, with no friends who are going to actually tell you the truth, because they won't ever actually know your truth. Get it together and stop the shit.
And Hope said what she said. And Bussy, on that note, how you doing? All right, so let's get to these comments. Because there's a lot of people that got a lot to say. Okay, so Sailor Murray said, I know we clown and make fun of her, but Madonna definitely deserves her flowers. She broke barriers. Yes, she did. It amazes me how he and other black folks are okay with the abuse, incest, and sexual assault, but in this, but draw the line with yeah, it's always the case. Like, it's perfectly okay to deal with treating women like slaves and animals and less than human and beating them down to the ground, because men like Bussy have been raised, or Bussy, because that's why I call Bussy MadAzz. That's the name that I gave him. You know, men like him are taught to treat women like they're less than, or that he's more superior than them, and that sort of thing. So as long as women are being held down and being treated like slaves, and, you know, come on, won't live with me and be my maid. Remember what Miss Mama said to Sophia? She was like, hell no. And then they tried to have to remind her who she was, even though she stood up against that white woman. That's how a lot of these men out here want to treat these women. And I don't understand the women that back these men that treat them this way, because of the homophobia and all that other mess. He said, but then again, it reflects who they are as a person. I'm so over these selective outrages. And that's why I say, as a person, a content creator, and all this other stuff, myself, T.S. Madison, and all the others out here, Hope Giselle, though I don't know many queer people of color who have been standing up and saying stuff. I know a lot. I see a lot of the gays, the content creators. I don't really watch a lot of them and stuff like that, but I haven't heard a lot of them come out and say nothing. I just see, like, the bloggers and stuff, they'll post stuff. I don't know if Jason Lee and the rest of them have come out and said anything, but I know for me, when you come out and you say something that's incorrect and as dangerous as what he is saying out here in the homophobia, and what a lot of, you know, younger LGBT queer, well, I'll just say younger queer, because queer is broad spectrum. Like, everybody's a part of the community. Those who are part of the Rainbow Coalition who are still trying to figure out who they are and coming to terms with their sexuality, and are confused and trying to work through all of that, and they looking for somebody to give them that support. And then you have people like a Bussy who runs out here and says these dangerous things, which is why a lot of people in our community have such a high suicide rate because of this stuff. When you're spewing this hatred and vitriol all over social media, because these kids live on social media now. These are the things that we have to worry about. So as long as I got breath in this goddamn body of mine, I will be out here speaking out against, you know, this bullshit that he's out here saying. We are not part of the MAGA. Don't hold anything back. Fire his ass. Oh, well, you know I am. I don't bite my tongue when it comes to shit. I've always been that way. I think that's always been one of my best attributes. They always say protect the children, but did nothing to enforce laws for gun control. You know, it's always people that will only care about the kids when it suits their narrative. We're in a situation now where Texas is allowing women to carry babies to term, even if it kills them. If the baby gets stuck, what do they call it, an ectopic pregnancy, where the baby gets stuck in the fallopian tube, and then you could bleed internally and all this other stuff. So now we're at a point now where it's like, y'all really don't care about these kids. If y'all cared about the kids, y'all would be trying to raise them to the best of y'all ability and all this other stuff, but y'all don't. Y'all just want to be out here spewing all this hatred and stuff because you hide behind the kids. The kids are your shield, so that way it gets to funnel your narrative of bigotry. That's why y'all doing it. Y'all really don't give a damn about these fucking kids. Because if you cared about your kids, you love them unconditionally and realize that being gay is not a choice. It's about as natural as when y'all heterosexuals wake up and know y'all like dick and pussy. And so it said, especially when the children and babies are being mostly the target, they use them as porn. Exactly what I said. My reverend is Reverend Chris. That's probably what I should change my name to. And actually pisses me off. They worry about all the kids, even the ones that aren't raised. Exactly. It's like, that's why I said, if people just worry about what's going on in their own house and take care of their own stuff, I feel like the world will be a much better place. But it's just easy for a lot of people to run around here and just worry about what everybody else is over there doing instead of fixing your own backyard up and cleaning your own damn house. Because people, you know what they always say about people who live in glass houses. So I'm sure this story ain't gonna go away. I'm sure Bussy's gonna find another reason, to go viral by bringing up the gays, and then people like myself and Hope and TS and so many others are just gonna have to drag his ass per usual on social media. So yeah, let's move on and talk about Katt Williams, who, child, speaking of dragging, he went in and let have on a whole lot of people. He told a lot of stuff. He talked about Wanda Sykes. Everybody caught a goddamn stray. Tyler Perry caught a stray. Everybody, a lot of people. No one was safe after he was done. So Katt Williams appeared on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, which I watched earlier today. It was like almost 3 damn hours. I was like, I don't know if I could sit through all this, but I was able to get through it because it was just juicy. There were certain parts I'm like, okay, can we get to some shit? But all the juicy stuff, I'm glad there was a lot of people who were online that compartmentalized, cut down and edited all the best juicy parts. Because I didn't just want to look at the clips and stuff that was on, that I saw on Twitter. I actually wanted to watch everything so that I can get everything in context. So he spoke out and said that, there's a lot of gatekeepers, gangs, lowbrow comedians, that sort of thing. And we've been talking about this for a long time, how there are gatekeepers in Hollywood, that they only let certain people in, the mediocre ass ones, the ones that take the shortcut to get where they need to get because they don't have the talent to take the long route. I'm not selling my ass. I'm not letting no grown ass man like a Harvey Weinstein, I'm going to get to this tea in a second too, go give me a baloney wash, because he said that too, that Harvey Weinstein offered to slurp him up in front of the staff at a meeting. We'll get to that one after we get to this thing, because he did say that. So he said, was talking about the, people that were the gatekeepers, like Steve Harvey, Rickey Smiley, Kevin Hart, and all that stuff. I do have the clip, hoping to God that it doesn't wind up being like the last video that I did. Not the last one I did, the video before that I did, where the video, basically my whole episode was taken down because I had played something that was copywritten. So I'm hoping that this doesn't happen here. But I want y'all to hear this clip and we'll come back.
Told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said it don't line up. How it don't line up? He thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know. Right. The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice. Right. It had done so well on BET's Comic View that they had made it part of the commercial. So part of the commercial of make sure you tune in to BET was you seeing me doing this joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke. Okay. 1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke. 2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times and Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon. I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that? Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here look like a walrus. You didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off his stomach sitting over here. Why I'm not a movie star. What?
It's a situation.
He never wrote anything. Remember, when Cedric the Entertainer starts, he's supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer.
Right.
We found out he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes. He did 4 comedy specials. They're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad that they're not available on Netflix or Tubi.
You don't think Cedric's a good comedian?
The world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. He has 4 specials that are not available on Netflix or Tubi. And this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition.
Now, I'm reading Katt Williams won Cedric the Entertainer's and Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Did you win that award, won Katt Williams? It's a simple yes or no. It's not a rhetorical question.
It's a question that probably should have been asked to Cedric the Entertainer.
I'm asking you. I got you here, though.
I know. I couldn't believe Cedric didn't get asked that question. You steal a dude's joke and then give him an award, and then 10 years later, you don't know nothing about it.
Okay, so, I mean, there was a whole lot more that was said about that, but you want to know something? It was like, I kind of agree. I've never found Cedric the Entertainer funny. He went in on Steve Harvey, was talking about, he called him potato head. He called him a whole lot of stuff. I was trying to see, like, where was that, so Cedric the Entertainer did clap back, and he said, regardless of whatever Katt's opinion, my career can't be reduced to one joke Katt Williams claims as his. I've been in over 40 movies. My specials, a brand speaks volumes for I am. I guess he meant who I am. And he said, the people I have put on, including Katt in the hat at the Gibson Amphitheater. So here's the thing. It's like, I don't think that Katt is a liar. I do believe that he was, what he said was the truth and all the other stuff. And when I look at a lot of comedians and stuff, I don't really find people like Cedric the Entertainer. Rickey Smiley irritates my damn spirit. And Steve Harvey does what he does. He's good over there on the Family Feud and all the other stuff, reading cue cards and all the other shit. I ain't never found Steve Harvey to be funny. I find that he's just irritating, that wide-ass head of his. But if y'all like it, I love it. They also said this. He said, this man told me he had Katt Williams' role. He was going to be Money Mike, and Katt Williams was going to be the Santa Claus. We auditioned in L.A. I was audition number 201. 200 Black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike with me. You're saying all 201 of us was auditioning, and you already had the role and already shot the role in 4 days? Because he's saying that basically he created that character for the Friday movies. And then Katt Williams went and said that Steve Harvey went and ripped off Mark Curry's sitcom, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Now, that I totally forgot, because I was like, wait a minute, you know what? Now that I think about it, he's absolutely right, because Hanging with Mr. Cooper, I believe, came out in 1992. It was a part of the TGIF lineup. I remember because I used to watch it. Holly Robinson Pete was on there, and I believe down the road, Raven Simone joined the cast. If I'm mistaken, or if I'm correct, because it's been so long since I've seen that damn show. I can't remember back to the shows that I used to watch when I was a kid and everything that transpired. But I do remember Raven Simone did join the cast, I believe, later on in later series, because, she was kind of like the person you brought on to save dying sitcoms. They did it when they did it with The Cosby Show, and they felt like they was going to strike gold again with Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And I do remember, because Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Mark Curry was a teacher on what's the other show? Steve Harvey show, which was on the WB, then went to the CW and all that other stuff. With Merlin Santana, may he rest in peace. And they had Bullethead and all of them on there. He played a principal. So the things are similar. And so he said this. He was like, the same Steve that went on to watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wears a suit. He also dissed that Harvey's acting chops and said that, because Steve said that he didn't want to pursue a film career. He said, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You don't have range. Which I actually believe. Because I'm sitting there like, first of all, what black comedian you know? Especially when we all heard that the Kings of Comedy was originally a Steve Harvey thing, but then he brought these other people on and he was jealous of Bernie Mac because Bernie Mac, in my opinion, and I'm glad he said it because I thought the same thing. Bernie Mac, out of all of them, was the funniest one on that damn special. Whenever I watch a special, I only watch Bernie Mac. I don't watch the rest of them. I don't care about Cedric Entertainer. Was D.L. Hughley part of that? I don't know. D.L. Hughley irks my spirit too. Because all of a sudden he would want to act like a goddamn hotep when he want. But then then he also say stupid shit too. So I don't particularly care for that old short round heifer. Well, he's not round, but he's short. I don't particularly care for him. But I damn sure don't care for Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is for people like my mother's age. Like my mother loves Steve Harvey. My grandmother, who is about to be 90 years old in November of this year, she loves Steve Harvey. So that's his demographic. I don't like Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is whatever. Him and Marjorie can go kick rocks based on what he did to her. So he said a whole bunch of stuff. And I was sitting there like, why is this man spilling all this damn tea? Child, come to find out, Katt Williams was born the same day as me, September 2nd. No, we're not the same age. He was born 1971. But like, this motherfucker's a damn Virgo and the same damn day, September 2nd. I'm sitting there, so I got to add him to the list. So it's me, Salma Hayek, Keanu Reeves, and Katt Williams. September 2nd, I said, oh, now I know why this man out here saying all this stuff. Because we just, look, when we start spraying people, you better move. But nobody is safe when it comes out to saying what we're going to say. So I'm totally with him on this. Now, he also came and spilled some tea about Harvey Weinstein. So let's get to that. And said the following. So he said that, so this is according to Complex, because that's where I got it from. It said, Williams made the allegations during his appearance on the latest episode of Shannon Sharp's Cold Shade Shave. The 52-year-old spoke about how a number of people have taken the shortcut to success by giving into unsavory demands from those in power. Katt says he never did so and gave an example where Weinstein allegedly tried to make an advance. He said they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out. But he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there. There's 3 other black guys on there. Who? Huh? I told him no. What y'all do? He added, and this is why when I walk in the room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they all have to respect it. Only because I'm not taking the shortcuts. I'm not taking the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. And he's absolutely right, because it's all, we already know about what happened with Harvey Weinstein when he was arrested. He was charged with rape in 2018, and then he was found guilty of 3 out of the 7 felonies in 2020. They said he was sentenced to 23 years in prison, and he's currently serving time at the Mohawk Correctional Facility in New York. Now, they're saying he's supposed to be released in 2043, but will be taken back into custody and transferred to a California prison to serve a separate 16-year prison sentence. So which basically means is his ass ain't getting out of jail. He spent the rest of his life in prison, and rightfully so, because I've heard so many stories about how Harvey Weinstein's a piece of shit. Look, the person that brought it to the forefront, shout out to her, is Rose McGowan. She the one that came out and said what the things that he did to her, and I believe, and then somebody also brought up, they said, I don't remember who it was, but it was one of them damn blogs, trying to say that Halle Berry was out here, spreading her legs for parts and let Harvey Weinstein get between her legs. Now I don't know if that shit is true. I mean, she has done things with Miramax, so or work, under the Harvey Weinstein umbrella. And if she did, that's her damn business. And that's her story to tell. That's not up for anybody to be out here telling her story. What we need to focus on is the shit that's coming out now. And I think that's why a lot of this is coming out. Katt Williams has been talking about this for years, but everybody's like, well, why is he talking now? Why is he saying all this stuff now? Because y'all are paying attention. That's why. Because now that we're at a place where everybody's ears is perked up and ready to hear about this Hollywood implosion, this Hollywood reckoning that's coming out, where everybody's coming out talking about the stuff that's going on in Hollywood. And everybody wants to hear the tea. Now everybody's ears is perked up. And everybody want to listen. And I'm glad y'all are listening. And we still got our people out here that's skeptics about, oh, why y'all wait all these years to say stuff? Or why you do that? Look, people been saying, y'all just ain't been listening. And like I said, you can't put a price date on somebody coming out and saying what they're going to say, especially when you have to think about the times in which they were back in the day, where people didn't have the strength and was able to come and say what they need to say regarding, abuse of any kind, and people in the industry doing quid pro quos and, and abusing their power and threatening to blacklist you. Now, if you're going to feel like, okay, now I'm going to take the longer road, and so that way I can have my dignity and hold my head up high. Because I'm the same way. Like I'm like, I can see why Katt Williams is the way he is. And he's like, oh no, I'm not going to put my pants down and let you put your mouth on me. First of all, have you seen what Harvey Weinstein look like? It's like, I'm not letting you put anything near anybody of your body parts near mine. So, and even if he looked like freaking Henry Cavill, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get in a room and just because you're going to be like, well, I'm going to give you this opportunity if you let me suck your... No. Because I'm not going to you're not going to use that against me. I'm not going to allow somebody to have something to weaponize and use against me down the road. I need to have something, I don't know, maybe it was the way I was raised, but it's just like, I got dignity. I have morals, and I have, and I know it's hard to believe, but some people it's like, yes, I have my limit. Like, I know ain't enough money in the world when you go and sit up here and abuse me and rape me. Hell no. Unless I'm into the person, I want to do something with them. Because you ain't going to come at me down the road and talk about I argue or because, a lot of people do that too. A lot of y'all be down with the shits until you want to get some sort of payday. So if y'all ever want to get around to watching the Club Shay Shay podcast, definitely check it out because a lot of people have been watching it. I know the numbers is huge on it. And I never really watched it. I mean, I've seen clips and stuff with Shannon Sharp online, but I never really sat and watched, all that other stuff. So good luck to you, Katt. You keep spilling your tea, and hopefully more people will come out and say what they want to say. He did throw shade at Tyler Perry too. He said him and Rickey Smiley, they always playing women in the dress because they're not good at playing straight men convincingly. So, look, didn't I say this a couple of weeks ago about Tyler Perry? The only thing that you're not that convincing playing a heterosexual man when that tea came out between him and Christian Keys, allegedly. Y'all be thinking I just be saying shit out the side of my mouth just to be talking. The thing about Virgos, we come with our receipts and facts before we start saying stuff. Or we actually look and pay attention and read between the lines and just like, oh yeah, I remember when that situation came out a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, and all this other stuff, and I'll bring a receipt to the show. I don't just say stuff just to be saying stuff. I'm not like anybody. I don't just spew hot air. I'm not even at the age where I can have hot flashes. But let's look at this, the comments, because I do see the people up in here with some tea. Miss John Mitchell says, I'm a whole gay father who has raised 5 heterosexual children. That's proof that we as gay people are not... Exactly. Anybody out here and look, statistics tell you that most people that... I haven't heard. I mean, maybe there are a few people out there. I'm not going to sit up here and say that there aren't, because there's always a couple of there's always a bad apple within a group that's going to spoil a bunch. It's always that's just the way it is. But for the most part, we have people that majority of the molesters, perverts, all this shit are heterosexual or identify as heterosexual. So it's not gay people out here doing stuff. When you got these repressed people in the church, like priests, as we talking religion and pastors and shit, where we have people that's within the church, the priests, who have to take this vow of celibacy only because the Catholic Church didn't want to pass down the wealth or the gold and stuff. They didn't want them having children and things within the church because they didn't want to have to pass that down to generation and generation or the lineage. That's why they came up with that foolishness about celibacy. Ain't no such thing. Look, my balls is not going to be hanging down to my damn ankles because I can't have sex. Hell to the no. We're not doing that. So yeah, so I do agree with, like, I've known many people who are gay parents who have children who turn out to be heterosexual. You can't turn somebody gay. It's in your DNA or it's not. And then Sailor Mermaid says, one thing about Katt Williams, he read a bitch to filth while being articulate with it and not just see. Because I said we share a damn birth date. That's how we Virgos are. We will be articulate with our shit. Like, we going to come with a receipt and we going to read you. We going to make sure that it says, like, it's what we love the English language. I know I do. Or a lot of Virgos I know love it. Like, we love words, wordplay, language, all that other stuff. And I will read a bitch down. Y'all know. Shit, did I read Bussy earlier? So, but anyway, so let's move on. And shout out to everybody in here who's watching and leaving, live comments and all that other stuff. That's, I guess, if y'all watching on the Facebook or the Book of Faces, as some people say, y'all can leave comments and stuff there too. Now, speaking of assault and things, I got a follow up on this situation with Nigel Lythgoe. So remember we talked about the other day that Paula Abdul came out and said that, Nigel Lythgoe, who is a producer on both American Idol and So You Think You Can Dance, had assaulted her. Well, we got two more people that came out and said, and I said this, whenever there's smoke, there's fire. And I was like, I know. I don't think I said it out loud, but I said it in my head. But I'm sure a lot of y'all be thinking the same thing. That when somebody comes out and says that one person comes out and says they were abused, it gives other people the strength to come out and say, stuff happened to them too. So, according to the women who chose to file their suit anonymously as Jane Does, they were contestants on an all-female reality competition show called All American Girl, which was produced by Lythgoe and aired for one season in 2003. That's probably why I don't remember the show, because I do not remember a show called All American Girl. The only thing I know about was All American Girl. I think All American Girl was a sitcom with Margaret Cho, right? I could have sworn, like, she did a show called All American Girl, which she was like the first Asian sitcom to ever premiere in prime time. So shout out to Margaret Cho for having that groundbreaking situation. And I know there's All American Girl dolls, but I do not remember this show. Now, the women are suing Lythgoe, who was identified in the suit only as John Rowe N.L. from the show AAG, and his unnamed production company for sexual assault and battery, sexual harassment, gender violence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligence. They are demanding a jury trial. Now, TMZ, which was the first to report the lawsuit, has confirmed that the women are referring to Nigel Lythgoe and All American Girl. The women allege in the filing that Lythgoe walked around the set in dressing rooms and openly swatted and groped their and other contestants' buttocks while they were wearing dance costumes. They also claim in the documents that employees, contractors, representatives, and agents saw this happen but did not act in any manner to condemn the action or prevent it from happening again. It was openly accepted. According to the women, Lythgoe allegedly took an unusual interest in one of them at the rap party to celebrate the end of filming and insisted that she ride in his car or go back to the studio where everyone else was going. The other women allegedly saw this and decided to go with them to ensure her colleague was not left alone. They claim in the complaint that Lythgoe took them back to his hotel in LA, his LA home, and allegedly made sexual advances on them, which they allegedly rejected. At one point, Lythgoe allegedly lifted his sweater over one of the women's heads and engulfed her in his sweater, attempting to kiss her and pushing her body close to his. Later that night, he allegedly pinned the other woman against a grand piano in the house, pushed himself against her body, and forced his mouth and tongue onto her. The women claim they've suffered and continue to suffer from pain, suffering, shock, emotional distress, embarrassment, loss of self-esteem, disgrace, humiliation, loss of enjoyment of life, loss of earnings and earning capability, and or have incurred and will continue to incur expenses for medical and psychological treatment, counseling, and or therapy. And that's, of course, because of, when stuff like that happens, it's your whole mental thing. So you're like stressed out and all that stuff. But when I'm reading the pain, suffering, shock, emotional distress, don't that sound like when you take like a medication, they tell you all the side effects? That's what, I don't mean to laugh, but that's what it kind of reminded me of as I was reading that down. But anyway, so of course, because, someone being accused, what they're going to do, his representatives have denied that, this is went down. Against Paula Abdul. His reps have not responded to the current accusations against him. I'm sure we'll hear something within the next 24 hours. And Nigel is 74. Now, my question is this, because I believe every damn word. First of all, I've always looked at. I've never particularly cared for him. I did not like him as a judge on So You Think You Could Dance. I just thought like he was somebody throwing his authority, like he was trying to be, I was gonna say the British Simon Cowell, but Simon Cowell is British. I felt like he was trying to be the Simon Cowell of So You Think You Could Dance. And he always creeped me out anyway. And there was always certain things that he said on the show that rubbed me the wrong way, especially when he was critiquing, the contestants and stuff. And I know that So You Think You Could Dance is coming back. They're reviving it. It's supposed to be like a docu-series type of format where we're going to get deeper into the behind the scenes of like the dancers. You're going to get to know them more as you see them perform and all this other stuff. So we're going to get more into their personal lives. That I'm curious about. But what I'm also curious about is what's going to happen with him. Like, are y'all about to fire him? Are y'all about to move him up on out of there? Like as a judge? Because he is coming back as a judge. So y'all going to have to get rid of him and bring somebody else in that place. Because if you're trying to, I don't know if they've incorporated him into the show as of yet. But what y'all gonna have to do is, because didn't they do that before with So You Think You Could Dance? Like they had somebody who was a part of the show and then they fired him. Who was it? What's his damn name from Glee? Matthew somebody, the teacher. I'm sure y'all know in the comments. He was a part of So You Think You Could Dance, and then them accusations came out about him. And he was in a couple of the episodes, and all of a sudden they replaced him with somebody else. So if y'all did that with him, you can do that with Nigel Lythgoe. So I'm going to keep track of this story as it develops. I'm going to be following it. I believe every word, and I am going to be watching because I am a fan of the So You Think You Can Dance series. I am going to watch the show to see what, what people, what they're going to do with him and what they're going to say, because they're going to have the dresses. The show comes back in March. So y'all going to have to bring up, or you're going to have to talk about this. Okay, so let's read the comments because I see, All American Girl had Jerry. Oh, so Jerry from the Spice Girl was on the show. I didn't know that she was on it. So I guess you remember. It said Jerry Horner, Spice Girl legend, Ginger is that bitch, was a judge. Arlie, this was criticized because she's not American. So, and look, did we just have a conversation the other day? I think it was yesterday where I posted on my Facebook. I was like, I don't care what anybody say, but the British, the Brits have been the ones who have been better at incorporating pop music. Like a lot of the songs that come out of the UK have been bops. They're really good with the whole girl group situation because I love me some Girls Aloud. I love Kylie, even though she's from Australia, but she's, she does kind of, she's more or less in the whole London, situation. A lot of music I tend to listen to, a lot of producers and all that stuff I listen to from the UK. So the Brits have always been at the forefront of pop music. So they do things better over there. So I don't know why they're trying to say that because she's American, like she can't really like come over and have a say so in as being a judge. Okay, but getting still, didn't y'all have Simon Cowell? He don't sing, he don't dance, but he up in here judging singers on American Idol. Y'all ain't said that shit to him, but I guess y'all saying that to him. You didn't say that to him because he was the one with, y'all would sign his record label. And he was the one that held the keys to the kingdom. So he got the pass. Randy Jackson too. But he was a producer. So anyway, so then they said thousands of these sexual harassment stories are not one of them about a person who proudly represents the rainbow flag, all from straight or straight presented people. Okay, it's either that or they're sexually repressed and low-key homosexual, like a Diddy, who still won't come to terms with the fact that he liked dick, or allegedly Tyler Perry with this whole story where Christian Keys won't come out and say what we all thinking, but so you got those sexually repressed homos who want to sit up in here and perpetuate a certain image in front of people, or bisexuals, whatever you want to call them, and hide behind certain things and use, rape is never about sex anyway, or sexual abuse. It's always about power, and you always looking at the people that are being accused of people who are in powerful situations in regards of, their image or their position or what their career and all that other stuff is. So it always plays into that. But yeah, I do remember that it was like the music teacher from Glee was accused of assault, and he was removed from So You Think You Can Dance. So y'all got this controversy. Y'all better remove Nigel. That's the only thing you could do unless y'all want to not see this show, come back. So if y'all want to protect yourselves over there on Fox and all the other mess, you better fire him. Okay, so now speaking of reality competition, all this other stuff, let's get into Kelly Clarkson because her husband is a no good piece of ish. After I read this story and I wrote this story yesterday, I was like, he is in the words of Miss Celia, low down dirty dog. So the American Idol alum, who's 41, said in court documents obtained by the Post on Tuesday that she told the talent manager, her ex-husband Brandon Blackstock, who is 47, for years. I think he's also the stepson of Reba McEntire, who's on The Voice, by the way. Since we talking about The Voice, it's funny how all this is kind of like full circle. So they said for years that she wanted to star on the NBC singing competition show, but he informed her that the network executives were looking for a more sex symbol type. Blackstock also allegedly told Clarkson that NBC wanted someone sexy like Rihanna over his then wife. Rihanna wasn't doing no damn The Voice, so I don't know what y'all was talking about. You know, she had her show at one point where it was like a fashion series. What's it called, Next in Fashion? I do believe she had a show at one point. It lasted one season. I think it was on Bravo too. The Kelly Clarkson show host made the bombshell claim last year to a California labor commissioner who ultimately ordered Blackstock to pay Clarkson $2.6 million for unlawfully procuring deals that should have been handled by her agents. Despite her then husband's purported comments, Clarkson was named a coach on The Voice season 14 in 2018. The Six You've Been Gone singer also told the labor commissioner that Blackstock allegedly said NBC had to have someone who was black and that she was too similar to another one of the clients, Blake Shelton, who was already a coach on the series. I'm so glad Blake is gone. His wife is on there, though. When Clarkson's lawyer Ed McPherson asked how she was able to recall the conversation, the pop star replied, well, a wife doesn't forget a time she's told that she's not a sex symbol, so that stays. Blackstock apparently told NBC execs in 2017 that they should sign Clarkson for The Voice, otherwise she would join their rival show, American Idol. He claimed the year the two music agents from Creative Arts Agency had advised him to pressure NBC by telling Pop Top Brass that Clarkson was already in talks with ABC about becoming a judge on the show that kick-started her career in 2002. Blackstock allegedly blocked Clarkson's CIA agents from joining the negotiation conversations with NBC, and she didn't even know that there was a deal on the table for The Voice until after she received an offer. Now, Clarkson also told the court that Blackstock mentioned that he got The Voice for her multiple times, and he was proud of it. She also testified that she was initially unaware CAA only received 5% instead of the standard 10% agent's commission fee because Blackstock allegedly took the rest of the money for himself. In fairness to Blackstock, I stayed out of the money part. I never was a part of the business conversations. I was always part of the creative, but no, that was the first time I heard about any of that. Her attorney said there was no proof CAA agents were present during the negotiations and Blackstock had broken the deal unlawfully because he's not a licensed agent, saying Mr. Blackstock's story, particularly with respect to The Voice, changed several times during the week of the hearing, sometimes because concrete proof or contrary facts were shown and other times for no apparent reason. So here's the thing. I go on and on and on. He traveling for this shit. First of all, this is why I don't get. This is why. Okay, number one, if you are a talent, do not stop hiring your significant others to handle your damn business. Stop doing that because there be some low key shady shit. We've seen this shit happen with Wendy Williams. You know, Monique get mad when you talk about Sydney should be handling her business affairs, but if she want Daddy to handle her mess, let Daddy handle his mess. But you know, there've been always stories about Kelly's husband being no good and a low damn dirty dog. And my thing is, it's like, you talk down to your wife saying she's not sexy enough to appear on The Voice. First of all, when I'm watching shows like American Idol and The Voice, I'm not watching it to beat off to no contestants or to be looking at somebody as a sex symbol. Who's looking at somebody? This is why I don't understand the mindset of Hollywood. Y'all so fixated on looks and beauty and stuff. First of all, Kelly Clarkson is not an ugly woman. A lot of people, and I've seen her in person. When I lived in California, she actually came to my job, and she was lovely. So, I've seen her in person. I've seen that no good ass husband of hers too, and she was with her two kids, and she was with another woman. I think it was either assistant or relative. I don't remember, but it was her. It was another girl. Her two children. She had the two kids with her, and that bastard husband who was off doing whatever he was doing. So I've seen all of them. I also seen Tamar X too, Vincent Herbert. I met him and one of the actors from SWAT, not Shamar Moore, because child, I would have fell out. But it was the white guy that was on. Well, it was a bunch of white people. I know you'll be like, which one? He was also on The Shield. But anyway, so I understand. So I understand, like you talking about because of your husband, you don't want to bruise the ego, whatever the case is, that you don't want to get into the business aspect. But I'm sorry, I don't care how much I love somebody. I need to know everything that's going on in my affairs. I need to know what checks I'm signing. I didn't know what business deals is going on, and I need to know if you're not trying to rob my ass behind my back. You're supposed to be my partner in business and in life and love. And you out here robbing me blind like you stealing my money. First of all, we all, we work together, we eat together. Like, I'm not going to be selfish and hold things away from you that, if you get like, if I'm hiring you to do a job, I'm going to give you a percentage of your cut. But what you're not going to do is make deals behind my back, cut out other people from the deal that you're not even supposed to be privy to or working on because you don't have expertise in that field. My agents need to be handling my business stuff, not you, in regards of like getting me gigs on TV. If I'm going to be doing this, hosting the Billboard Awards and stuff, Blackstock ain't supposed to be doing that. My agent's supposed to be hooking me up with that. That's what I'm paying my 10% for in fees. Same thing with The Voice or whatever other projects that Kelly got going on. You're supposed to be handling the business aspect. So now you handling other things. You talking down to me, but you trying to be, oh, well, yeah, but I got you this job, but they was doing this. And then you trying to pit American Idol against The Voice, somebody she was going to go over there. Quiet as a kept. I've been said that when it came to the American Idol, I always said, like, once Simon, Paula, and Randy, because I don't think they got rid of them. I just think they were just done judging their damn show, and they wanted to move on. But once they got rid of Simon, Paula, and Randy, and they wanted to revive the show, instead of bringing on Jennifer Lopez and all these other damn people, which it should have did. Now, Jennifer Lopez is better off doing So You Think You Can Dance. Singing, sis, you already know. Although she did have a dance show at one point that none of y'all watched with Neo and the other one, Derek Huff. Y'all ain't watched that one, even though that show lasted like, 2-3 seasons. But I said what she should have did, she should have been chosen. I said either her, or maybe you could have just had all the judges be former Idol contestants. I said y'all should have had Adam Lambert as a judge. You should have had Kelly Clarkson or Jennifer Hudson, one of them, just like put within one of them, and then you have maybe like a record exec in between one of them. So you could have picked one of them too, and then have an exec in between. So you should have had somebody there that has the experience of what it's like to be a contestant on a competition reality show. I've been saying that she should have did that, but she went over and did The Voice, a show I could never really get into because I can't name one person from that damn show that has been as successful as, let's talk about American Idol, as a Kelly Clarkson, as a Fantasia, as a Jennifer Hudson, as a Adam Lambert. I was gonna say as a Ruben Studdard, but Ruben Studdard career kind of been stuttering. So, so there's been a couple of them that have come from that whole world that have had burgeoning careers, that have had these big blossoming careers. And I know Jim Ferraro's, the gay guy from season 1, he's been trying to make a comeback. I seen he's a little single floating around on social media and on Twitter. He's been thirst trapping. Remember him from the Eating Out movies? But anyway, or movie, because I think he only did one of them. But anyway, so Kelly, your ex-husband's no good. I'm glad that at the end of the day, he had to pay you back. Excuse me. Over, that money where he overcharged her $2,641,374 when he booked her for The Voice, as well as other TV appearances, such as the Norwegian Cruise Line, Wayfair, and the Billboard Music Awards. I should point out that he has filed an appeal on the decision. But you can file whatever the hell you want, because I feel like you don't have a rat's chance in hell of winning this case. So you're done for. And it is what it is. So good luck to y'all. And I will definitely keep abreast of this story that, as it develops. So let's go read these these comments. Miss John Mitchell says, if you were asked them if they were gay, what would they say? Paula Abdul leaving Idol in 2009 now makes more sense. She could ruin him and was fired, etc. Now I wonder if that breakdown, etc., was her dealing with trauma from. Could be. Yep, Brandon Blackstock. Thumbs down. Exactly. Okay, so let's take a travel from one NBC show to another show, and that'd be Bravo. And talk about Kyle Richards, trifling, thirsty for ratings ass and this shit. So I don't know if y'all been watching this new season, the current season of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but a lot of it has been, floating around and circling about between her split from Mauricio Umansky. Apparently, what they said, well, they were alluding to it throughout the season and all this other stuff. But then when the divorce finally came out and everything went public with all, all the blogs, everything was talking about it, they had them go in and reach and shoot some scenes so they could capture this extra. Because I guarantee you, Kyle was up in here playing in all y'all faces, and now they needed a moment where it's like, let's film y'all talking about y'all breaking up and those other stuff to give the season a little more cachet. Because the show, I will say this season has been good. Dorit been getting on my goddamn nerves with her delusionalness and people getting mad at Garcelle for calling her out on a lot of the stuff that she's been saying that has been low-key gaslighting within being, when it comes to Black people. It's like, I'm not going to sit up here and explain to you microaggressions and all this other stuff. It's not my place to do that. Erica, shout out to her. I know a lot of people have their issues with Erica Jane, but I'm going to give her flowers. I'm glad she came out and said what she said, because it's like, yeah, you cannot say certain things. Oh, you were yelling at me, or you were aggressive, or, those are fighting words when you're a white woman talking to a Black woman, because when it comes to Black women, or Black people in general, that is, when you say that you're angry, it goes to the whole angry Black woman thing. When you're being aggressive, it's like, no, I'm not being aggressive. I'm calling you out on some shit you said, and now you're trying to escape your way out of it. But you have to watch when it comes, when you have a different group of friends, you have to watch certain things or certain words that you say, because while it may mean one thing to you, it's perceived another way when it comes to people of color. So you have to be careful with certain things you say. And shout out to Erica for having to explain it. And then she goes and says to Garcelle, well, I need you to explain to me. What other word can I say? It's like, I don't have time to educate you. And yes, that's another thing too. People of color are tired of having to sit down and educate you Karens and Kens when it comes to certain things y'all can and cannot say. Get you a friend that understands, or have a conversation in private, to be filmed on TV, of course, with Erica, so she can explain it to you. Because Erica had to tell you. But it's still not getting it. Well, I didn't mean it that way. Okay, you may not have meant it that way, but let's let it go, because I ain't got time to be doing this shit right now. Especially when we having this argument in front of a damn bunch of total freaking strangers that I don't know. So you try to bring up shit to be cute, to detract from the fact that your ass ain't had a storyline in 4 years or beyond. Speaking of people that didn't have, and now since we talking about somebody who ain't had a storyline in a long time until now, let's talk about Kyle Richards, because in an upcoming episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I have not seen the latest episode, because I usually watch it on, I don't have cable, I don't have regular television, I have streaming services, so I always have to wait the next day to watch it on Peacock. So I'll watch it after I'm, later on when I can. And so she was asked in a clip, well, first of all, she asked Dorit if she would ever date a woman. But then Crystal, who I feel like y'all been doing her dirty for the past couple of seasons. I know she's been saying stuff on the show, and for what we've been hearing, y'all been cutting her out because I guess y'all don't find her interesting enough. But I'm like, if she got something to say or bring something up, y'all got to make her work with the show. Unless, if she's not, then make her a friend of. But anyway, so Crystal flipped the question on Richards in the extended version and basically said to her, now would you dip your foot in a lady pond? To which Richard said, yeah. Now, for those of y'all who have been watching, Kyle has been hanging out a lot with this country singer by the name of Morgan Wade. I don't know who Morgan Wade is, but I have seen her on clips because I don't listen to country music. But I have seen her popping in and out of the show. And when we've been watching the show, we are well aware, because Richards is 54 and Wade is 29. The age thing don't really bother me. But the thing is like, I've noticed, because all of a sudden Kyle's hanging out with this girl. She said they've been friends for 2 years. But why are we just now hearing about her this season? Like, why we didn't see y'all fighting around and hanging out and all this other stuff seasons before? Now all of a sudden, because your ass did a storyline and people have been dragging your ass on social media for not having a storyline, now all of a sudden you want to use this whole lesbian situation to allude to the fact that you out here getting your cat licked up by another woman, an AG, because she give me AGTs. So Kyle's been, getting tattoos, which Mauricio's kind of been irritated about, that she's getting all these tattoos and stuff at her age. I feel like she's going through a midlife crisis. Can y'all start with that love bean shit? Because he calls her love bean. I'm like, what the hell's a goddamn love bean? You getting on my nerves with that stupid ass name. But anyway, so she's getting all these tattoos, and then she's, exercising excessively. Then all of a sudden she's not drinking it anymore. So this is like this whole thing. And I'm all about, changing your life for the better and all this other stuff. But I just feel like she's doing this because she's influenced by this girl. That there's something about Morgan that she's enticed by. And she's all of a sudden changing up a lot of her old ways. Like, if you're gonna change up your shit, change it up for yourself. I don't see like why you feel the need to change up who you are. And you know, there was a thing that said something, and it made a lot of sense to me when I was reading about it. And they said that well, she brought Wade as her date to Kathy Hilton's Christmas party last month. She also, when she went on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, she emphasized that she and Wade are just very, very close friends. Now, you know, when you use certain words, what that is, that's she knows, she's good with words. She knows how to say, excuse me, certain words that is going to get people talking and keep alluding to things, which keeps the web, you know, the blogs and all these other people talking, myself, talking about this area. But I see, bitch, in the words of Peaches from a Low Down Dirty saying, I see through all your Maybelline. Like, you're not fooling me with all this mess. And then she was in Morgan's video where they shared a bubble bath together and then they almost kissed, but they didn't kiss. So y'all played up that foolishness. And so this was the line that when Morgan said about Kyle, pretty much summed up how I feel about this whole situation. She said she's extremely smart when it comes to business and how to mentally ignore ish. She's been such a great person to have in my corner to help me navigate stuff. So, yeah, on one hand, she's ignoring stuff, but I also feel like what she's good at, and said she's smart when it comes to business. She knows how to make this stuff work online and get us talking and to keep alluding to things. And so, do I think that Kyle might be, you know, fluid, dipping herself in the, you know, toe in a lady pond, a lesbian? You know, I'm not all for the labels and all that stuff. But I do feel like, in my opinion, you know, I see, you know, through the rose-colored glasses with her. And I feel like she's being opportunist. I don't think she's gay or bisexual. I just feel like that Kyle is nothing more than an opportunist that will do whatever she can to chase that high known as fame and to keep us talking. Like, she gives me Anne H tease. Remember at one point when Anne H all of a sudden was somebody, she was in love with Ellen? Girl, I ain't never believed that fool. All of a sudden y'all coming out with the same damn haircut, the same look. Now, I believe Portia before I believe her. Well, Portia is a lesbian. You ain't never seen Portia running around with no man. But I just never believed that Anne was into getting her coochie licked or her coochie scratched by a woman. I didn't believe it. But she went along to get along, and I'm sure that Ellen probably felt like she was duped through the whole situation. But yeah, with this whole situation, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying anything with, you know, when it comes to Kyle. I put nothing past these talentless ass whore pit vipers and who they will use and abuse for a storyline. And I feel like that this is basically nothing more than what that is. You were just using this girl for a storyline. She's young and probably doesn't understand, because Kyle's a lot older and she's way more clever in a lot of these situations, and she loves to play dumb when she's on TV or clueless. I don't think she playing all. But a lot of people say, oh, she's dumb and all this other stuff. I don't think she's dumb. I don't think she's playing. I think she's you know, being truthful in who she is. So that's all I got to say on that. You know, I was going to talk about this whole Jen Shah situation, but you know what? I still don't care. So we're going to move on and talk about Britney. So, you know, the other day, a story came out that Britney was sent to work on her brand new album, her highly anticipated 10th studio album, and she had recruited Charlie XCX, and she also recruited Julia Michaels. Now, I like them both. I love me some Charlie XCX. You know, she is someone who helped usher hyperpop, that whole sound, into the mainstream. Especially when it came to her working with Sophie. May she rest in peace. I wish Sophie was still around, because Sophie was one of the many who have helped pioneer that whole hyperpop sound. And, you know, she passed away when she was trying to get a better look at the moon in Greece, and she fell off the balcony and died from like head trauma. So shout out to her. May she rest in peace. I definitely loved a lot of her production stuff. I still listen to her album and a lot of her songs and stuff when I'm working out at the gym. But anyway, so, you know, Britney was supposed to be working. That was the rumor and all this other stuff. However, let's not pump the brakes. You know, we was all excited, like me included. I was like, oh my God. So I love the idea that she'd be working with Charlie XCX and Julia Michaels. And then I was like, well, who as a producer? Because I can't think, like back in the day, I used to be at the forefront of knowing, okay, which hot producer would sound great working with this artist. Now I can't tell. I don't know who produces shit anymore. I used to be, when I used to buy CDs and all the other stuff, I used to read the liner notes. I used to be like, okay, so who produced this song? Who wrote this song? All this other stuff. Because I would always be curious and like, who were the movers and shakers that were in the industry that were like making these amazing beats. And it wasn't just like the mainstream stuff. It was always like even the underground stuff in the UK. So if y'all watching have any ideas of who, like hypothetically speaking, who would be good for Britney Spears? Not will.i.am, child, because I hated the shit she worked with that heifer. First of all, will.i.am was good for what he did with the Black Eyed Peas. When he started working with other people like Cheryl Cole, who's now Cheryl. Sidebar, I've been going on this whole obsession with Cheryl as of who, was from Girls Aloud. She went solo, all the other stuff. So I've been listening to a lot of Cheryl music lately. I haven't watched her A Million Lights tour on YouTube. Bitch can perform. I know people be like trying to throw shade at her or whatever. She could sing too, because I was kind of looking at her like, girl, them vocals is a choice. But no, she could actually hold her own as a solo act as well as part of Girls Aloud and all this stuff. So I'm not going to shade it. Look, the Brits be definitely doing what they doing in regards to like the performance and all the other bands. So I got to give them they props and stuff. So I've been on a Cheryl kick as of late. But back to Britney. So I was like, who would she be good to work with in regards of like a producer? So yeah, if y'all in the comments, y'all got any ideas, if we like hypothetically, like let's pretend that Britney is gonna release the new album, who y'all think she should work with? But I do like the idea that she would choose two women like Julia Michaels and Charlie XCX to punch up some tracks for her, because I just love Charlie's sense of humor and how she has a really good ear for pop music. Look, she gave Icona Pop, even though their album is great, oh my God, what's the Club Romantique? That's the name of the album. So, I love what she gave Icona Pop one of their biggest hits. I love it. But even though their new album is great, it's, wall to wall, track after track, everything is a bop on that album. Well, I'll say most. But, I love the fact that, Charlie XCX has done some songs for herself as well as other people. So I should point out that Britney Spears has gone to social media. Oh my God, she took down the damn post because I went to go look on her Instagram. It's not there anymore. But I did write what she wrote. Let's see. What did she write? So she wrote the following. She said, just so we're clear, most of the news is trash. This is what she wrote, referring to reports that she was working with Charlie XCX and others on a new album. Because what I was going to do was I was going to pull up the Instagram post so that way we could all read it as a class. But she took it down. So she does that a lot, by the way. They keep saying I'm turning to random people to do a new album. I will never return to the music industry. She continued, when I write for fun or I write for other people. For those of you who have read my book, there's loads that you don't know about me. I've written over 20 songs for other people within the past 2 years. I'm a ghostwriter, and honestly, I enjoy it that way. The Give Me Word singer released her highly anticipated memoir, as y'all know, The Woman in Me, back in October, and it became a bestseller, all that other stuff. And then we've been talking about that, she has that there's possibility of it becoming a biopic, which I'm here for. Like, I'm definitely here for that. But then I saw in the comment, in the post that they wrote, shout out to Entertainment Weekly, they were trying to say, can you imagine like if she actually wrote Troye Sivan's Rush? I was like, I could totally see Britney Spears writing to that. But I know a lot of people, y'all throw shade at her, but yes, Britney is a songwriter. A lot of people don't know this about her, and I actually knew that because I'm a Britney connoisseur. I do listen to Britney's music, and if you look in the liner notes of a lot of her stuff, I don't even think a lot of the hits she that she released was written by other people. But if you look at, I believe Every Time, that song with, but that was about Justin Timberlake. That was situation. She co-wrote that song. She's had a hand in writing a lot of stuff. The industry, her label, didn't want her coming out and having that full control over her career and having a say so in regards of the songwriting and stuff. But Britney does write a lot of songs. And I love the idea that she put it out there. She's like, you know what? I actually have been ghostwriting for a lot of people. I wonder what her ghostwriting name is. If y'all sleuths out there are able to find out what her name is, definitely put me on and let me know. But I say all that to say, to wrap this story up, I feel bad that Britney's not coming back. I would love for her to release a new album. I would like the music But we'll say this: Britney has had a legacy in the career. She's solidified herself as one of the pop greats. She has worked hard to get where she was and do all the things that she's done, and she is, famous in her own right. She's, magnificent at what she does, and I miss her contribution to the pop world. But you know what? Some people just like, you know what? I've been through so much in this industry. This industry has done me dirty. Why would I want to come back to my abuser? This industry has used me and abused me to the point that it's like I don't want to go back. That if I go back and I have to rehearse and do all the things that is required for a pop act, now I got to deal with the trauma. And a lot of people, some people, even with therapy, can't get over that trauma of the countless hours of rehearsing. And then it's like, you're working with new people and they're nothing like Jamie, but that trauma is still there. And with her being on subjected to so much medication when she was younger, throughout that conservatorship, she ain't trying to go on no damn medication to deal with her shit. I mean, I would have been like smoke some weed, but look, first, quiet as Kim, ain't nobody making money from the fucking music industry any damn way. She probably made more money on that damn memoir than she had throughout her entire music career. So, we still have our memories. If we want to watch old Britney Spears, we want to get a little nostalgia, we can go back and watch her performances from MTV back in the day on YouTube. We can watch her old concerts. We can watch all that. We can go back and live nostalgic. Not everybody wants to come back and continue to ride that way. Not everybody's Madonna or Cher, where they want to be doing, music and stuff well into their 60s and 70s and possibly 80s. So good luck to you, Britney. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever the next chapter is. Hopefully it's a biopic. Okay, so excuse me. We have two more topics to get to, and then we are wrapping up the show. And so one of the topics we're going to get to, let's talk about Canada's Drag Race. So Denim is the second trans male drag queen to compete, I almost said compare, to compete on Drag Race. They're on Drag Race Canada. The first trans male to ever compete on Drag Race was Gottmik, who I believe is from season 13 of Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race, the American one, the grand dam of all Drag Race shows. So shout out to Out for this story, because this is where I got it from. They said, throughout all the years, drag queens don't like the idea of being compared to other queens. We've seen that happen throughout the many years of us watching Drag Race, that there's always some queen that gets compared to another queen because, when it comes to drag, a lot of it can be pretty much similar depending on, your aesthetic or the area in which you're from. Like if a New York queen, we have our specific queens that if you go to Hell's Kitchen are different from the queens you get if you go to Brooklyn. The Brooklyn queens are a little more alternative and a little more artsy fartsy. Like some of the queens that you're gonna see on this upcoming season, like Dawn from Drag Race, when you see that new season that's going to show on tomorrow. Speaking of which, they're having the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race season 16 today. I know friend to the show Victor Yates is going to be going, and my friend David Laff is also there. But also, speaking of which, ciao. The next time we do a show, I'm gonna put y'all on to some stuff because and I'll get back to the story in a second. I'm gonna actually be at where am I going? Safira Cristal is doing a release party, a viewing party, sorry, a Drag Race season 16 viewing party and show at the Brooklyn Bowl in Philadelphia. That's where I'll be going because I'm heading to Philly tomorrow, and I'll be back sometime on Saturday. I don't remember when. So I got the Airbnb, got all that stuff. So I will definitely be out there. So if y'all happen to pass y'allselves up at the Brooklyn Bowl, you can come by and say, hey, girl. Maybe you can buy me a drink. I will come with my coins and get my drinks. But if you happen to see me, say, hey, love the show, all the good stuff. So you happen to be in Philly, stop by. Onyx Ondix from Dragula is going to be there, as well as Honey Davenport. She's going to be DJing. And Avery Goodname from Can't Wanna Kiki and Iris Spectacle. So they're all going to be there, performing and all that other stuff during the thing. So they're going to have a meet and greet, all that other stuff. So now back to this topic. So Denim is mad because people are comparing her to Gottmik. Regardless of what your gender is and all that other stuff, I call everybody she and her. So relax. So, She said, they said this. They said, I get this comment every single day, and I always have to laugh because it's like, if you see all trans men as the same, just say that. Our aesthetic are wildly different, and our only common denominator is that we're trans men and our trans characteristics. God forbid a second trans man gets on Drag Race amongst the 9,384,084. Well, she said 938-48484. I ain't got time to be trying to break all that shit down. Cis gay men, including other trans women, NB people, Avi, so many trans men do drag. There's not just a lot of mainstream representation, and comments like this just show that you're an entitled gay that knows nothing about queer culture, and it's embarrassing, honestly. Saying I'm a cheap Gottmik is funny because I've never even had close to a fraction of that level of wealth and resources and never claimed to. I made an extremely memorable and iconic package with the support of my drag family and friends. I spent all the money I had on my name on Drag Race. I had to my name on Drag Race, and it wasn't a lot, and I still did that, so eat it. Well, yeah, that's great that you were able to do it. And here's the thing. I do agree with Denim by saying that, they should be compared to another trans person. I guess that's the only thing they got in common. Aesthetically, their drag is vastly different. The only thing they got in common is they're both trans men. But it's like, can y'all do yourselves a disservice by just trying to say, well, yeah, you're just nothing more than, you're like Gottmik. You're the Gottmik of Canada. And it's like, no, their drags is aesthetically different. I actually like Gottmik's fashion sense. That's more of up my alley. But this shit might piss some of y'all off if y'all watch Canada's Drag Race. But I have to say, Denim irritates my goddamn spirit. That fucking vocal fry that they do on that show was working my root canal nerve. And I've seen like the people in the comments over on, when it comes to Canada's Drag Race, y'all was having issues with seeing all that stuff. And I do read the comments. Like, a lot of people still mad that Denim's on there. Child, y'all gonna be even more mad because Denim makes top 3. So y'all gonna be even more mad that they make it all the way to the damn end. Now, I don't think they should win because they're not bringing what needs to be brought in regards to their drag aesthetic. To me, I look at Denim as nothing more of like the Roxy Andrews of Canada's Drag Race, where it's like you're being carried along by your sisters. Now, I live for Roxy and what they've done, and she gonna redeem herself or have her redemption or whatever you want to call it, because she's gonna be on All Stars 9. When that airs sometime later on this year, after Drag Race wraps up, that's when we get, the other show. But y'all probably gonna get pissed off at me for saying this, but I don't give a goddamn. There was something that Denim has said on the show that kind of irked me, and I had to write it down so that way I can have all my thoughts, because I wrote this as a full-on article. So I also find Denim annoying, who has become the Roxy Andrews of Canada's Drag Race due to her performance on the show being mid, but gets saved by her fellow queens that she's aligned herself with. Or maybe it's production telling the queens to not get rid of them because they're scared to chop someone because they're trans. Not only because of the irritating, exaggerated vocal fry accent that they're doing on the show, Alaska did it first but better, probably because Alaska is likable, but because of an episode early in the season where she went on a tangent about AFAB queens and being called one. This is where re-education comes in. If you are a trans male who doesn't identify as a AFAB queen, this is where you educate people on your preferred pronouns or how you identify as a drag performer. An AFAB queen is someone who is a cishet woman, who identifies as the gender they are born with. When she came in with that hyper queen narrative, I rolled my eyes so hard I almost went blind. I think my gripe from this came from the fact that people like Denim go on and on with this Gen Z wannabe social justice warrior crap, like so many of my trans POC sisters. While so many of my trans POC sisters are constantly arguing with black cis men online over the word cisgender being a slur. Meanwhile, this argument is happening while so many white trans queens, except a few like Trace Lissette, remain silent. And that's why I said we have a bigger fight that we have going on. Like early in the show, we talked about Bussy MadAzz and his bullshit going in and letting have on the trans community and the gay community and all other stuff. You white queens out here with your pronouns and your hyper queen and all this other mess. Child, we ain't calling no damn woman no hyper queen. First of all, we already got cis heterosexual black women who pissed off whenever you say the word cisgender. But y'all silent on that shit. But you want to sit out here and call them some new damn phrase or whatever. Child, I almost gagged when I saw this earlier. I was watching TGIF And they brought up this conversation about arbrosexual. I mean, what the fuck is that? So there's basically a person whose sexuality fluctuates. I'm like, ain't that non-binary or bisexual? So now y'all want to come up with something new. And I looked at the person that said, of course they white, young, got a lot of piercings, like give very much that whole Denim, annoying ass Gen Z white queen vibe. Y'all just be wanting to go viral with some shit, or y'all just be wanting to have a moment so y'all can get a hashtag or something going on social media that y'all want to come up with these different names. Look, unfortunately, the way it is, it's going to have to be in our community. We always have to constantly, and I know a lot of us don't want to do it, but we have to constantly educate people on, you know, terms, pronouns, all these other things. And here y'all coming in and talk about, well, I think it's disrespectful to call an AFAB queen an AFAB queen. An AFAB queen is basically a woman who was assigned female at birth who does drag. That is vastly different than what Denim does. Denim is a trans male who does drag. That's different than an AFAB queen. Just say that. Just explain it. But y'all want to come out and call it, oh no, I'm going to call it that. No. So now you want to sit up in here and call, say, being an AFAB queen, which you're not, as a slur. You don't identify as a heterosexual female. You transition to a male. So that's where that whole thing comes in. But a lot of y'all just want to sit up in here and sit up on y'all privilege. Because a lot of y'all don't have to deal with the shit that the Hope Giselles and the T.S. Madisons are constantly out here doing. I don't see a lot of the white trans or the white gays out here saying or constantly going back and forth on blogs and piping up about stuff. I don't see the out.coms and the queer tees and all that other shit coming to the defense of the Black queer community or the community as a whole when it comes to these conversations. Y'all want to sit up in here and thirst trap Jacob Elordi all fucking day. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Jacob Elordi, but y'all sit up here and talk about him, fucking Maluma, with no shirt on, or Michael B. Jordan. That's all they do on them fucking blogs. But we have to sit up in here and deal with the BS that consistently comes out and the homophobia and the transphobia that comes out of these neighborhood talks, the Jasmine goddamn brand, and the shade room and all these other situations. So that's where I'm gonna keep my shit going. I'm gonna keep on fighting this good fight and just give you bitches the side eye with your wannabe social media warrior keyboard bullshit and talking about, well, this is inappropriate because I don't like it. Whatever, suck my ass. So I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on that. And that whole abrosexual shit, try to get off my line with that. We have this thing called, I'm sticking with sexually fluid. I'm sticking with non-binary. What's the word that damn, I forgot it. It was like I'm gonna stick with sexually fluid, or what the hell's his name? Wayne Brady said he is. Well, he said he's pansexual. So we could stick with the pansexual and we could stick with, like, if it means the same thing, why are we changing terminologies? People have already gotten used to pansexual, or I say sexually fluid. If you say sexually fluid, because yeah, it's like, if your sexuality changes and it ebbs and flows, it's fluid. Why we can't stick with that? Sexually fluid sounds perfectly fine to me. It doesn't offend anybody. So it is what it is. Child, these people get on my goddamn nerves with their bullshit. But I do see somebody in the saying something. I'm like, well, yeah. Well, look. Sometimes I know I be going on my tangents. EJ used to always get on me when I used to go in and let her have on the whole chain, you know, the way y'all always be wanting to come up and say stuff. But I'm like, this gets me all wound up. And I'm all open for change and differences of opinion, all this other stuff. But sometimes I be feeling like a lot of y'all do this shit for attention. Y'all really do. So let's get to our final topic and talk about Lil Nas X's upcoming live Montero tour documentary. So the story came out, you know, it made its debut 4 months ago at the Toronto International Film Festival, also known as TIFF. And so months later now, we're finally getting Lil Nas X Long Live Montero. And it is scheduled, according to The Hollywood Reporter, to debut on HBO at 8 p.m. on January 27th, and it will also premiere on Max. So if you don't have HBO, and if you have Max, you can watch his documentary on January 27th. The film was directed by Zach Manuel and Carlos Lopez Estrada, whose credits include Blind Spotting and Raya and the Last Dragon. Wasn't Raya and the Last Dragon a cartoon? But it said the film's 2023 premiere at TIFF was actually delayed due to a bomb threat against the festival. However, organizers said that the threat was general, not directed at Lil Nas X or his film. The screening went ahead with additional security and currently holds a 75% score on Rotten Tomatoes with 8 critic reviews. So I guess those are the ones that got to see it. The Long Live Montero tour was Lil Nas X's first headlining tour, running from September 6, 2022 to March 26, 2023. According to touring data page on Twitter, the tour generated over $7 million in revenue after 21 shows, selling around 100,000 tickets. The documentary follows Nas on the tour and sees him talking about his place in the music business as a Black and queer performer. And if y'all been paying attention to him on social media, y'all already know he got a new album that he's working on. He's been teasing it. A lot of people been kind of going at him because he said that, oh, I have put this song out that's like a gospel song or whatever based on the theme or just the subject matter. And people all of a sudden started getting into talking about the devil and all some stuff. And I think recently he said something or another because Dave Chappelle, made a comment about him in the video with the devil and all something mess. I don't care. I didn't care nothing. I didn't care enough to even remember what the shit was because I just felt like Lil Nas X's clapback was weak, just as weak as the joke that Dave Chappelle told. So I don't care. But if y'all want to look it up, Google Schmoogle, you'll find it. Now, in regards to this documentary, I will say this. I'm not necessarily, I love the fact that we have somebody who is Black and queer that has broken into the music mainstream. There are plenty of others that I listen to that I feel like should have had that spot. Like I like Mark Angel. He's got his Seraphim short film that I think I reposted on my TikTok that's supposed to be coming out. I know he's been doing some stuff. He basically sounds like Janet Jackson when he sings, like that whole high pitched voice, whatever. He has a thing coming out. He sings, dances, composes, does his own music. I know Baron Artist does music. There's so many others that's within our community that does music. We have Cakes the Killer, who I'm obsessed with, a Butch Queen rapper that kind of like, if you like the music of Azealia Banks before her ass went crazy, or that whole vibe, or like Queen Latifah, remember when she would do like rapping over a house beat? That if you want to hear something like that, definitely look up Cakes the Killer. There's so many artists out here that I absolutely live for. But you know what? I'm glad at least one of us got through the door, but y'all need to open that door a little bit more wider and let a lot more of them people up in there so that way people will know who else is out here besides the typical Lil Nas X, Sam Smith, Troye Sivan. Like there's so many more out here. But anyway, let me get off my little the porch in regards to saying that part. Now, I'm not necessarily a big fan of his music or whatever. I just feel like the gimmicks overshadow the music, in my opinion, and the visuals and all other stuff. I always feel like his little gimmicks and trolling online overshadows the music. However, when it comes down to the documentary stuff and seeing the live performance, I haven't seen him live, but I know people who have seen him live, and they said the show was good. When he came to New York, he performed at Radio City. So I am curious to see, getting to know him behind the scenes and seeing all the documentary style and then that sort of thing. So I am curious about that part. So I'm going to watch the documentary out of curiosity to see how they put it all together, if we can actually get to know the man behind the gimmicks and all that other stuff so we can understand him more. So I've always been fascinated when it comes to stuff like that. So that part I'm actually looking forward to. As far as the music goes, he really got to give it in order for me to want to like his stuff. I'm not really into that aesthetic of music. I know a lot of his younger demographic and stuff loves whatever he does, and that's great for y'all. However, I can't relate to the stuff that he does and all other shit. But I do admire the fact that he's kind of taken more of the in-your-face Madonna as a pop star route when it comes to controversy. So I do like that. But as far as the music goes, it's a little on the weak side for me. But like I said, I'm curious, and I will definitely check out the documentary when it airs this late in 3 weeks on HBO and Max. So let me know if y'all gonna definitely check it out, if y'all even care. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out when it comes out. Okay, so Sailor Mermaid says, I agree there's already a word for it. It's called pansexuality, prefix pan meaning many. Yes. Child. I can't. So yeah, so I guess that's it. Yeah. We are at the end of today's show. I was like, where's my damn name? Okay, so yeah, we're at the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in to this latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. For those of you who are still in the room, thank you all for staying to the end. I've seen there was a lot of people popping in and out. And thank you all of you who have, left comments such as Miss John Mitchell, Sailor Mermaid, Robert, and thank you for all, who's been in the live chat. For those of you who are also, new, thank you all for watching as well. And thank you also for my numbers is going up. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people have been subscribing to the show. Thank you all for that. So if you are just like passing through, do yourselves a solid and hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification button so you'll know when I'll be going live. I guess the next time I go live is when I get back from Philly, which I told you I will be going out to the Drag Race viewing party that Safira Cristal is going to be hosting, and there's going to be a whole meet and greet and all this stuff. So you happen to come out in Philly, definitely, if y'all can make it out there, I will definitely see you out there, and I'll come back, giving y'all some tea about what happened at the party, as well as, I'm going to get the tea on what happened at the Drag Race Season 16 red carpet premiere that they're going to be having probably now or within the next hour or two, because it's like 5:15. So, they're in New York right now. The girls are going to be doing their little step and repeat. They're going to show the premiere. I'll see the premiere tomorrow at the viewing party, but they do the screening and all this stuff. I'll get all the tea of who was there, who wasn't there, and all that mess. And I will bring y'all that tea when I come back for the next show. Who knows? I'll probably do one on Sunday or Monday. Don't quote me, but that's why I say hit that notification button. So that way you'll know when I go live. So, like I said, thank you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.